Good morning. God, you guys were having a serious conversation. Hide the party. Yeah, you guys were seriously active without me. That's all right. It's good. You're supposed to explode a bag of like flour or something when you say that. That's what we did to one of our teachers in high school. we stood around in a circle, like facing each other, and we we were all making sniffing noises, like all tightly packed in around each other. And when the teacher came to look for us, one of us looked over our shoulder and went, "Scatter!" Bang! Just popped this this bag of flour to make it look like we'd all been sniffing some coke. How's it going, guys? Safe to say we all got in a bit of trouble. Good morning, good morning. So we've got Tekron, Will, Jared, Rich, Tansko, Stefan, Sister Monica. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good morning. Good very early morning for you, Stefan. I started like 30 seconds early. Hey, Ben. Good on you, Daniel. Tanzo? Okay. Is it an R or an A? I'm good, Daniel. I'm good. I'm buggered, but I'm good. Ah, right. Fair enough. Tanzo. Can't find a better crew of people than these guys, Tanzo. Oh, you're certainly one of them, Ben. I'm working on the handles for my Hexhawks. Really need to make myself that shave horse. It's on the list. Hey, dead rats. No, I haven't got around to fixing them. They're still in their broken state. I'm kind of busy fixing finishing the ones that are not broken. Lunch burritos, sounds good. All good, Techron. Yeah. Hey, Fire Scale. Thanks for joining in, man. Long time no see. And yeah, unfortunately I am on the other side of the planet, Jared. And you, mate, and you. Sorry if I'm knocking the camera around a bit. All right. Coffee break. So another news, my press is coming today. Yeah, I know the idea. Kids meal. Well, you know, you are a Nemo. Nothing like a good sharp draw knife. Yeah, no, I plan on making a proper shave horse at some point. I've actually been looking into the 2x4 design because I've got a whole bunch of 2x4s. That's good. Let's see if we can get it started in the eye. A little bit. He's a new put down muscle before. Fair enough. All right. What are you beating up Dan Moss for? I mean, I know he can be a little bit abrasive, but he's a good dude. Besmirching the name of Dan Moss. Yeah, wow. if he wants to take issue with it, he's more than welcome to fly out here to Australia and challenge me to a duel. That's very true, Ben. Very true. All right. Just a little bit on this corner. When I'm making handles for my own hammers and stuff, I'm a lot less circumspect about how I fit the eye, because I basically just cram a giant wedge in there and call it good. But with my saleable items, I like to have a nice tight fit. Alright, just a little bit on this side. Couple peels. Tight, nice and tight. Cooking in the microwave. And the reason I'm wearing hearing protection, even though I don't need to, is because these are Bluetooth headsets, so I can listen to music while doing the live stream and not get done by YouTube for copyright. Alright. Nice tight fit. And that gives me my index for the next shaving. It's all about inertia. So because the axe head is quite heavy, it doesn't want to move. Even when it's hanging in the air, it doesn't want to move. Whereas when you strike the handle shoots downwards while the head stays still. So that's how you seat the head. Yeah, I blame you for why I'm so buggered, Roy. It's all your fault, buddy. I made one and then posted the photo of the finished head online, and suddenly everyone's like, oh, I want one too. So I spent this whole week swinging a hammer at some very, very hard steel. I'm bugging now. Mick had a go yesterday. He has a newfound respect for my abilities.
I think I did too bad.
No, he did a pretty good job actually, yeah. Unfortunately, Mick's axe ended in tragedy. I've got it right here. Yeah, unfortunately, he lost the end of his axe. But that's okay, because we're going to forge this out a little bit longer and a little bit deeper and still make a decent tomahawk out of it. Yeah, enough for doing a little job. This one that I lost, I will end up turning into a spontoon hawk.
Arrowhead.
Yeah, arrowhead spontoon hawk. I think that's going to look pretty good.
Yeah, that'll make it nice, right?
Yeah. Spontoon warhawk. That's it, Daniel. Thanks, Roy. I was glad I got to catch the end of your stream, or the middle of your stream. Yeah, it's a little bit warm to light the forge today. That's why it's the Saturday sweltering stream, rather than the Saturday smithing stream. Okay, so a spontoon hawk is a tomahawk that has like a spearhead on it rather than like a blade. Otherwise known as an arrowhead tomahawk. So yeah. At the end of this stream, I'll be heading over to my dad's place and we're going to be tearing down the press from where he has it set up, and we're going to be putting it up in my workshop. So look out for on my Instagram and Facebook feeds for video of me squishing some hot steel this afternoon, because I almost guarantee no matter how hot it is, I'm going to want to get something hot and squish it. There we go. Beautiful. There you go. There's the rough fit. Yeah, don't bet. You're going to be busting your ass on the sledge no matter what. So nice tight fit, even at the top. Got a nice tight fit there, no serious gaps. That's what I want to see. That's really what I want to see. Oh, that makes me feel so happy. I really like a good handle fit up. Yeah, Will gets it. Yeah, Will gets it. Thanks, Tazrats. I have two finished ones here. I'll show you what we're aiming for. So, these are the finished Hexhawks. Lift you up a bit. So yeah, those are the finished Hexhawks. They have wedged handles. They're faceted handles. They're rounded facets, but yeah. I like having two of them, and they're both different colors. I like it. I'm so totally taking a photo like this before I send these off to their customers. But yeah, these are I really like these. Yeah. They're not tomahawk. Like most tomahawks are quite light. These are a little bit heftier. You can see they've got quite a bit of chunk in the head next to the eye, but that makes them really good camp axes. Like this will do some serious work for you. I really like these. So yeah, the Hexhawk handles aren't actually hexagonal; they're octagonal. Yeah, you can see the end there. Yeah, there is a slight flap on the sides. That just helps with, you know, orientation. But yeah, I wanted to keep the faceted look throughout the piece, and I think that really kind of looks good.
Definitely.
Draysons, you stole Randy's phone, did you? Who misnamed the handle? Yeah, it's just JT. Never mind. What'd you do to your thumb, Jared? Sean Pittard. Well, I'm doing my best, Sean. Hey, Curiosity. You can all thank Roy for you can all blame Roy for the design, basically. Well, you can blame Roy for the idea. 300-pound bearing. Oosh.
What? Fucking 300-pound bearing.
Ow. That hurts. Well, I mean, from like that 5-pound roller bearing we've got, if that was the full thing, that'd probably weigh about 300 pounds. Like the full bearing.
Oh, with all the inner and outer race.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like you imagine that 5-pound bearing and there's like fucking 30 of them, and then you've got the inner race and the outer race, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, that would hurt. Yeah, thanks, Roy. I also have to thank Jack. I also have to thank Jack Rigby from the Tipsy Viking Meat Hall because he's actually the one who donated all of those hexagonal jackhammer bits. He basically showed up one day and we were chatting. He's like, "Oh, you want some jackhammer bits?" And I've gone, "Oh, what do they look like?" And he's just pulled them out and gone, "Oh, I don't have a use for them. Here you go."
So great.
Yeah, you know, I have some wonderful people here in WA that keep showing up to my house with steel. It's friggin' awesome.
No way you got your big spring off yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I got that off Brian and a box of other stuff that he got me as well. Well, that's it, Curiosity. We think it's S7. Definitely moves like S7. I was telling Mick all about how friggin' hard this stuff is at heat, and he was like, yeah, I got it. And then he's going to make his first one, and he's hit the punch, and there's no mark. And he's gone,
Fuck.
And like, he's just sitting there, boing, boing, watching the hammer bounce off the punch. Oh, man.
Immediately switched over to the
I've been doing them 2 at a time, so I've made 5 of them total now. I've made the one in the live stream, and then I made 2 on Monday, you know, like at the same time, and then I made 2 yesterday, or day before yesterday, forged 2 of them again. Gosh, so much work, especially because our hammer eye punch for the sledgehammer was broken or was bent a little bit, so I had to reforge it, and now it's been hardened. Just got to regrind it and put a handle on it, and we can get back to punching eyes with the sledgehammer, which will be really nice. Until I can get the press punch dies set up. Yeah, that's the hope, Roy. Once we get the press running, I'm going to cut a whole bunch of billets and just production run these things. Free steel is also always awesome. I have a troll on my Facebook account who's like just shitting on all my posts at the moment. I don't know. I don't get it. Basically, the first thing he did was when I put up that video of me squishing that piece of wood, he's like, "Oh, get some steel hot and show us doing that." And I'm like, "Well, fucking, it's not in my workshop." And then he's been shitting on the fact that I'm using recycled steel. He's like, oh, congratulations, you know, lost 2 hours work when the Hawk snapped. I'm like, so? It's free steel, man. Yeah, that's awesome, Jared. I actually have some inner race. There's some bearing race for you. This is a slightly smaller version of some of the ones that I have access to. Yeah. One of my favorite things is to go in and like, you know, there's a bearing, you know, that's a reasonable size bearing, and then here's a roller bearing. It's just the roller. This is actually slightly smaller than the one I made the hammer out of. This one's going to become an axe once I get the press running. The guy who managed to get me these bearings and stuff and the contacts with the company did so on the proviso that I make him an axe out of them and make him some texturing hammers. So I made these two little baby texturing hammers for him to texture Sanmai, Takethu stuff. So yeah, these will be handled up soon as well. Right, what was I doing? That's good. Right, so that's done. Now I need to start shaping down the facets of the handle. Oh, right. Now realistically I could do most of this on the grinder, but I don't actually have to, because I can do it with a plane and save myself the cost in belts. Oh, this stuff is so hard.
What's my handle material?
Plus, I really love throwing shavings with a hand plane. Yeah, absolutely, Dad Rats. Nah, she's fine. This all gets sanded anyway. The big problem is that I'm working spotted gum, and spotted gum has a lot of curl in it, so you almost always get tear out with hand tools, no matter what direction you go with the grain. But you get decent shavings out of it. And this stuff is the softer stuff. I'm working on one of my own handles, which I'll probably get to today. But it's out of the darker stuff. This one here. And this stuff, the plane doesn't even touch it. Yeah. No, not quite, Jared. I've sharpened that thing to a razor's edge. Really doesn't like it. There's pretty much only one, Will. Unfortunately, that's the spotted gum is the only really good wood for handles. It's the only one that's got enough flex in it. There are a lot of hardwoods in Australia, like Wandoo and ironwood and jarrah, but they're all really brittle. You need that flexibility. But that being said, spotted gum is stronger than hickory and way tougher than ash. This stuff is bomb-proof. Whoops. Just constantly shave and check, shave and check. You don't want to overshoot. And you don't want to run your handle that square. Yeah, it cracks real easy. Fair enough, curiosity. Cheers, dead rats. Take these off so that I can. It certainly can be, Denise. Depends on how hard you're working it. I'm not normally a smart man, so I just work it as hard as I possibly can and wear myself out. Whoa. That's what happens when you go against the grain. You get nice big bits of tear out. Got a good taper going on. Thin the head a little bit. Oh, this stuff is so hard. Right, so that's the general shape. Turned it rectangle. It's got a bit of a taper to it in both directions, so the biggest pit is back down here. Now we move to the Spokeshave. Against the grain. All of this gets screwed up on the grinder, so I'm only roughing it in. And again, the reason I threw it up on the grinder, yeah, Purple Heart can be fractious as well. Hey, Carson Haig. Yeah, ebony's really brittle. Yeah, ebony's, yeah, annoying. best to get ebony. Best to get ebony professionally stabilized if you can. For those of you in Australia who are wondering where you can get really good professional stabilized timber, Sinclair Stabilized Timbers. Mark Sinclair is a good friend of mine and an absolutely fantastic stabilizer. He's also a great knife maker, but oh yeah, it's incredible. This is actually some of his stabilized greenstone mallee burl, the handle that I had to bust off. That was my fault, not his. Oh yeah, it's absolutely fantastic wood. And Mark does a seriously in-depth job on his stabilizing. Nothing like peeling good chips with a Spokeshave. You know, I love the plane, but there's something special about the Spokeshave. It's just such a nice place. Nice thing to work. The Hague, yes. Well, I'm very familiar with the word Hague. I used to be a real World War II kind of aficionado. And the Human Rights Council was based at The Hague. And they made a lot of the rulings on treatment of prisoners and stuff after World War II. The trials were all held at the Nuremberg, but The Hague was the one that made the decisions. There are a lot of things. Tans. I really wish that I could get my hands on ash for handles. I have one ash handle. I sold the other two. Little stuff, leaves are a really good practice. They're a massive pain in the ass. Bottle openers, both the punched kind and the curled kind. I have videos on both on my channel. Actually, no, I don't have a punched bottle opener. Blasphemy. Right, but there are plenty of videos out there of people making punched bottle openers. If you're looking to get into knife making, then leaves are definitely a good way to go because they'll teach you how to do set downs and work thin material, which is very important. It really does depend on where you want to go in your smithing career. Still a bit chunky. I don't want to go too far though, because I can always come back with the grinder and. Oh really? Yeah. What's Jared fucking? Fair enough, Jared. Just make sure they're below 18% moisture rate, because if they aren't, then customs will burn them. Row, 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 gently down the sea. It's feeling pretty good. Pretty happy with that. I can trim the rest up on the grinder, but that's the basic geometry done. Hexagonal handle. Yeah, but you sealed the China berry. They don't mind as long as it's sealed. It's only when it's not sealed that they mind. Still a bit chunky. Not that there's anything wrong with having a bit of meat on your bones, but yeah, spray on poly. What are the things that you need for forging? Well, I mean, if you're making knives, it's good to have a quench oil. If you're not making knives, then you don't really need it. For hammers and stuff like that, you can get away with water, as long as you're using the right kind of material. But a bucket of water is definitely a must. Down a bit. I've only sold one of these Hexhawks, so 2 of them will be available for sale. There was a guy who messaged me saying he was going to buy one, but I haven't heard from him, so keep your eyes out if you are interested, because these 2 might be available. Well, this one and another one might be available soon. Zebra wood's great. I love zebra wood. I fucking love zebra wood. If I could make one axe handle for myself, it'd be out of zebra wood. Yeah, well, it's a bow wood. So any wood that you can make a bow out of, you can make an axe handle out of. Actually, Liam Hoffman's recently started selling handle blanks in zebra wood and in a whole bunch of other really cool woods. Pre-cut, pre-fabricated, all that kind of stuff, ready to go onto a handle, onto a head, sorry. Yeah, that's it. So, yeah, no, I would love a zebra wood handle for an axe. If I ever get a zebra wood blank, I'll make myself a Hexhawk.
A really nice, like.
Yeah, well, like that one that's going to Queensland. That one would look really good with a zebra wood handle on it. No, that's fine, Tanzo. That's what I'm here for. I mean, these streams, while sometimes their entertainment in, you know, watching me make something cool. In this case, I'm working on something that you guys have seen me do a lot. So I'm here to answer questions. And I'm always happy to answer any questions you have. No such thing as a stupid question. Yeah.
Talk back and forth.
Feel free to come on down, Curiosity. Hey, Steve. What does the carbon content contribute to in iron? Well, without carbon, iron is just iron. With carbon, iron is steel. And in steel, obviously, the higher the carbon content, the more hardenable it is, because as who just said it, Firescale said, it reduces slip between the iron elements. I actually have a whole bunch of videos in a heat treating playlist going into in-depth on how heat treating works.
Right, the carbon takes up space between the iron molecules.
Yeah. And the carbon creates a matrix. So, like iron in its natural state is as malleable as copper, say, because the atoms are in a sort of semi-fluid state at room temperature. So they will shift past each other quite a bit. Whereas when when you have carbon, when you manage to seal that in iron in a quench, it creates the crystal matrix. Now, most people know that diamond is just pure compressed carbon. And that's what makes it so hard, is that crystalline matrix of carbon, the one molecule stacked on three others to create that pyramidal shape is really strong against compression. So the same thing is happening in steel, except between the carbon molecules in the matrix, you have carbon, iron, 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 carbon, 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 carbon. So you've got this really strong matrix between the carbon, which is interspersed between with the more ductile iron particles, which is why you get the strength and the hardness. That's cool. Well, unfortunately, there are a lot of communities in the blacksmithing industry. Well, it's not really an industry anymore. It's a community. In the blacksmithing community, you will find groups of people who are assholes. Like, to put it in the simplest terms, you've just got people who will hoard their information, hoard their knowledge.
Elitists.
Yeah, elitists. And, you know, like, some of them will just not want to share information with people because they don't want competition. They want to be the best at it. You know, they want to be the best at it, and they're not willing to be the best at it because they work hard. They just want to be the best at it because no one else knows how to do what they do, which I find really irritating. But then there's the other guys who will simply say, you aren't a real blacksmith if. And that annoys the shit out of me. Yeah. We have a group here in WA, and I won't name names, but there are quite a few people in that group that will tell you that if you're not using coal or charcoal, you're not a real blacksmith. If you're using gas, you're not a real blacksmith. If you use any kind of power tool, not a real blacksmith. Only real blacksmiths use, you know, coal and charcoal and no friggin' power tools. And I just think that is the least honest way to go about things. Do you get it hot? Do it with a hammer. But, you know, if you do those two things, you're a blacksmith. I don't care. If your process gets you to the same location as someone else, then what the hell's the point in umming and ahhing about the process that gets you there? That's pretty much kind of correct, Hanzo. The thing with the Prince Rupert's drop is you're relying on the compression from outside against the tension from the inside to create that hardness. Whereas in everything's flowing past each other, it's in a plastic kind of thing, to a crystalline matrix. It's like water going to ice, kind of, except that the carbon is what's creating that ice structure. It's kind of its own thing. That's why steel is so unique. And the harder, the more carbon you have, the more crystalline matrices you have within the piece, which means the harder you get.
That snap piece of cast iron and that snap piece of the Hexhawk yesterday. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, I haven't got. You mean the case hardened stuff, or?
No, you should have that lump that we thought was
Oh, the. Yeah. Oh, I think I threw that puck away. Oh, there it is.
Just give him a good example of like how the crystalline structure.
Oh, Jesus. Right, so as Mick just pointed out, I have a piece of cast iron that we're actually given to find out if it was Woots, and it's not. It's cast iron. But the grain structure in this stuff is like beach sand. I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm trying to get the camera to focus. It's not focusing. Focus camera. That's good enough. But yeah, you get the idea. It's really grainy. Whereas in steel, again, can't get the camera to focus, but focus camera. Anyway, it's really, really smooth. It looks almost like the surface of broken plastic. So there can be very, very different kind of things. Pecans. Yes, have you heard of using pecans? Fair enough, Tonzo. 100 pounds of pecans. Hey, Damascus. Exactly, Firescale. You can also use corn. Early settlers in America were finding it difficult to supply themselves with enough charcoal to provide heat, and so they started burning corn kernels.
Dried corn.
Yeah, dried corn kernels. Yeah, as fuel. So yeah, you can actually forge with corn. It's hilarious. I've watched videos on doing it. It still looks funny. It's just like, someone pouring like a bag of popcorn on them. It's great.
And it actually gets like.
Yeah. Well, it chars itself. It charcoals. Because, like the corn is so small in cross section that it just instantly charcoals. And so you basically just get this pocket of charcoal in the bottom, and as that kind of shrinks and turns to ash, more falls in and cooks itself. And you get this really cool kind of like flow-on effect. It cooks real fast, but it's usable. It's kind of like forging with hardwood. Like you can forge with just wood, and it charcoals itself and slowly gets up to temperature. It's not as good as corn pecan, yeah. Mainly because most of the time with hardwood you've got large chunks, and it takes longer to char. Yeah, you use bread as charcoal. Yeah, fair enough. Damper would be good for that. Like if you,
Any unleavened.
yeah, any unleavened bread that's really dense, you let that dry out hard. Use that as charcoal. You could use that, no worries.
Oh, not even charring.
Well, no, yeah, because they char automatically. That's what I'm saying, is like you don't have to char them previously, because what happens is that the pecans will naturally char themselves in the... Wouldn't make it into the foil. Well, fair enough, Odin.
Yeah.
I'm a big damper fan myself, so I can see that. I can see that. That is exactly right, Jared, and that is the subject of a future video that I'm going to be talking about on my channel.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be an announcement about potentially a fundraiser or a GoFundMe. Mick and I have been talking about it. I brought him onto the idea. I've been talking about it for about 3 or 4 years. It's been an idea that's been in the back of my head, and I really want to get it started really soon, and
Sorry.
yeah. So I was explaining the idea to Mick the other day, and he's on board. He's fully on board. But yeah, so hey Ben Strickland, how you going? Exactly, Fiscal. No, we're not forging today, Caitlin. We're answering questions and making handles for my Hexhawks because it's warm today. It's actually not that bad. I thought it was going to be a lot worse. It is a breeze, which is good. It's still warm.
It's biting in the summer.
Oh yeah. I'm only imagining what this place is going to feel like this afternoon when we start putting the press in. Is that the roof's already hot.
Yeah. After lunch it's gonna be muggy in there, man.
Pecan pie, man. I love pecan pie.
Dirty.
Sorry, Caitlin. You may leave if you aren't super keen on watching me make handles. I totally understand. I'll judge you, but I understand. Cook eggs on my roof, yeah. Probably get that hot later in summer. Man, what was it? Was it the day that we were doing those Hexhawks that it was freaking brutal in here? No, I don't think it was that day. It was one of the days where in here it was just ridiculous. Huh?
Earlier in the week.
Yeah, I think it might have been Monday when I made those two Hexhawks. Yeah, well, that's when it would have been. Of forging. Going for a unicycle ride. Have fun, Carson. The most fireproof of woods. Yeah, it's fairly fireproof. Burns really hot though. Low 20s. Fair enough. Well, that's nice. It's it's low 30s today. Now you want to see how hard this stuff is? This this specific piece of spotted gum is the hardest spotted gum I have ever worked. It's ridiculous. Like it doesn't even strip chips anymore. It's like little fuzzies. It's weird. It's so hard.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's biting.
Yeah.
It's just...
Need to seat my. That's annoying. It's so hard, it's actually not reacting to the Spokeshave, it's pushing the Spokeshave blade back in. I need to tighten my Spokeshave down. Morning, Alex. Surprised to see you here. I thought you'd be working in the workshop. Yeah, you're not wrong, Tonzo. I have. I know the Hasluck family. Well, that's true, Caitlin. Screw you, Will. Fair enough, Alex. That sucks, man. Hope you feel better soon. Ah! Ridiculous. Oh my god. I'm just gonna grind this stuff. Oh. And this isn't because of a blunt tool. I sharpened this yesterday. It's ridiculous. Just give you an idea. This is spotted gum and this is spotted gum. Notice the difference? This one's nice and light. This is the sapwood. This is heartwood. They're both as flexible as each other, but this stuff is way harder. Ridiculously hard and dense, yes. That's why I'm making my handle out of it. My handle's going to be slightly different than all of the Hexhawk handles. Mine's actually going to have a slight curve on the bottom, because I like curved axe handles. All my Hexhawks have straight handles. I actually have a Hexhawk here, which has the heartwood handle on it, as you can tell. Yeah, so heartwood handle, sapwood handle, Hexhawks. Thank you, Roy, for the idea to make Hexhawks. Well, actually, he didn't tell me to make a Hexhawk. He just told me to make a tomahawk, and I had hex lying around. All right, let's try this. Let's try the draw knife. Some water on the, yeah, I can do that. I might not use water, I might use oil instead. Because I don't like drying my woods. Actually, no, this will be fine. I've got to shave down quite a bit. There's the grain. It's beautifully dull brown. Very dense grain structure. It's hard to see on the camera. Alex is Valhalla Ironworks. He is also my co-host on the Forgecast. I need a very specially trained beaver. Well, you know, you're supposed to move here then. Lol. All right. Let's try the draw knife. There's a reason that I don't use draw knives on seriously hardwood, but that's working. I'm gonna go for sharp draw knives. Oh. Oh, come on. Oh boy, it's working, but it's hard. Good thing I recently sharpened this, huh? Yeah, just still good. Still tear out. He's an Alex. Yeah, he's a kind of all sorts of crafts kind of guy. Paul was. Train beaver. Jay Nielsen described boy is meticulous, yes. Yes. You know, it's the three Forgecasts hosts, an axesmith, an axesmith, a bladesmith, and Alex. I still love that episode. that was Nils trying to describe the three fucking members of the Forgecast. He's like, it's great to have such a diverse range of opinions. An axe smith, a bladesmith, and Alex. Oh dear. What's that?
One day we'll bring
Oh man. Don't even get us started. Nils has been having a real hard time trying to make it to 2 episodes recently. Poor guy. He's got so much going on. Oh, that being said, those of you who have been looking for Forgecast merch, whew. Oh, that's all right, Steve. Thanks for dropping in, mate. Does depend on what you're quenching. It does. For those of you who are wondering about Forgecast merch, I have the Forgecast shirt, and the Team Sam shirt available on my Redbubble store. Yeah, I will be. I will be for my next episode. Oh no! That was bad. Yeah, see, so this is why you don't take. Yeah, it ships all over the world, Curtis. I don't know, Caitlin. You'd have to check out the Redbubble store. Yeah, that's why you don't use draw knives on hard stuff. Shut up, Jared. It's all right. I didn't pull through the grain though, so I'll be able to turn it back around. That was my own damn fault for not paying close attention to which way the grain was running. Yeah. Eee. That's bad. I want that. I don't want that. Ah, the tear out. Oh my god. Okay. This is a terrible idea. Ah!
I'm glad you
Okay, so I'm doing this all with the grinder because fuck that shit. Holy crap. I might have lost that handle. Oh god, that's way too thin. That's seriously pushing shit uphill. Not after I octagonalize it, no.
For me, it's fine.
Yeah, well, you can keep it then.
You can finish it.
Fuck that, you can finish it. You gotta finish your axe first. Alright, this is now Mick's handle, and he's gonna finish it. God dang it.
I'll save that for when I do it full size. Excellent.
Well, while I'm here, may as well make those handles for those texturing hammers. Have some nice mallet wood. Yeah, unfortunately the camera on the other side would yeah, the camera on the other side would shut out the internet. It's with the guest springboard. I will use the grinder, guys, but I can't take you over there, so I'm going to put that on hold for now and make some handles for some other hammers. Some texturing hammers. I have some really oddly shaped pieces of mallet wood. Yeah, it didn't split very good. sounds good. I don't have enough material. Okay. I changed my mind. I'm firing up the forge.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm going to do, but I've got 15 minutes. See what happens. That's it, Sean. It's not a failure. It's just too small for my hand now. Mallet wood. Mallet as in like a carpenter's mallet, because that's what it was originally used for. It's they used to make carpenter's mallets. Let's see what I can make in 15 minutes. Maybe a little bit longer. I might give you a little bit extra time. Just make Caitlin. We'll fire up the forge. Move my board of knives out of the way of the forge. Whew. Right. The giant spring, yes, my chair. Nothing around here surprises me anymore. Make the most basic side tool. I think that would take longer than 15 minutes. Just guessing. Hammer one. Where's the handle? Shave the handle down there. Samurai Punch. Beard comb would be interesting, although I'd probably make it out of wood. Where is the sweet spot? Oh yeah, right there. Underneath all the tools. I can't fucking see it. I'm blind. Yeah, out of wood. Hell no, I'm not making a beard comb out of spring steel. See that axle? Man, that'd be rough as guts. That'd be rough. What?
It's almost hot for a complete new handle.
Yeah. Whatever. Alright, you get to see Mick swing the sledgehammer on live stream for the first time. Hey look, Kookaburra. You and me both, Caitlin. Nothing. I'll shift you over a little bit. Hopefully you'll be able to see all right. Yeah, no, it's Mick swinging the sledgehammer. That's so much worse. Alright, just to make Jared happy, grab the Muko. So you can see, so I'm not frigging it up. Yeah, it's not like we haven't done it before. Yeah, sorry, Tonzo. Hey, Donut. Hey, Jay. Mick striking, so Daniel's safe. Well, we haven't punched it yet. We're actually planning on making a Canis Damascus slug hammer out of all these little punches. Thanks, Curtis. Alright, come on. There you go. kilos, whatever that is. You can look on the dial. Whew.
Nearly 15.
15 pounds. Whoo! Yep, nice clean hole, nice clean slug with the negative of the Brazil style punch head. Always fun punching eyes. So I didn't count how many heats it took me when I was solo, but I think it was like 7 or 8. That was 3.
Could have done
We could have done it in 2 if we'd let it heat up a bit more in that first heat.
I reckon I could have got it 1.
We could have got it in 1, yeah. We were just rushing because I wanted to do it in 15 minutes. Thanks, Daniel. I'm glad you like my hole.
It's a nice hole.
All right. Yeah, that's exactly right, Jay. That's exactly why I do it. Yeah, Brian is fantastic, and Ed, his brother, is great as well. But yeah, so my punches are kind of they're kind of a bastard child. They're sort of half slot punch, half Brazil style pointed punch.
They work well.
Yeah, I let it get a little too hot that time.
Especially for that initial mark and
Oh man,
seeking them.
love it so much. No sloppy holes, Jeb. We keep our holes nice and clean here. Whew. Yeah, so it's a good little hammer eye punch. So yeah, that will become another Hexhawk. We might not even need to use the press for punching those. I think it's actually easier with the sledge.
Yeah, it'd be 1-2 heats for the sledge.
I think in the long run.
Yeah.
Than with the press, because the press will suck it all in. And I think yeah, for hammers it's going to be better with the press, but for the smaller stuff, yeah, sledge all the way. Benefit of using the super huge dog's head versus the sledge. Well, one of the main advantages is the extra weight. Although you could have a bigger equal-ended sledge, but equal-ended sledges tend to get wider rather than longer. So, you know, the same weight in this 10-pound sledge as this 15-pound Muko. The Muko keeps a much smaller face size than even the 10-pounder. So you get more force applied to a smaller area. It's all about pounds per square inch. So you get, even a 10-pound version of this will give more force to a smaller area than this will over a larger area. The other advantages are that it's self-straightening, so that it automatically orients itself. Yeah, it kind of strikes straight down. It's a really good tool for that. And
Drawback though is
it flops.
once you hit, it flops.
Yeah, it falls over. Especially the higher you get in the head. This one's actually a little bit like ludicrously long for what it is. But yeah, it's the Mukos, they're great, and it's just a matter of different techniques, different styles. These are a traditionally Japanese style hammer. So it definitely means that, you know, like they've developed this
For a specific
purpose. Most of the time when they're forging katanas and stuff, this is what they're using.
Suited more for compression, not so much hard punch.
Yeah, it's not so much for speed, it's for a hit.
Yeah.
You know, they hit actually quite slow compared to what a traditional European style sledgehammer swinger could do. Where can you buy one? Well, if you really want one, you could possibly get someone to make it. I wouldn't be against making another one.
Really wasn't that hard.
Wasn't that hard. The shipping would be a bastard though.
Yeah, that's what it gets.
Like, you know, without the handle, because, you know, there's no way to ship it with the handle. the head alone is 15 pounds. So, you know, it's not light at all. But yeah, it's something that we could think about doing in the future. We actually did a video on making this one.
It's longer than the text I received from my mum when I get in trouble.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Not so much fire scale. It's not so much less effort, although the technique for swinging is quite different. So, those of you who are familiar with European-style sledgehammers will know that you swing like an axe, right? You're swinging. You're bringing your hand up to the head, and then you're swinging, sliding your grip, much like when you swing to split something with an axe. Whereas with the Mukazuchi, you swing, keeping your hands completely still, and you rock your body into the blow. So it's an entirely up and down motion, like this, rather than, you know, swinging it like an axe. And I actually find that I use this left hand forward more than when I'm using the European. I use it right hand forward. So it's an entirely different method of use, which for a person who's swung a European sledge like Mick has for quite a long time, it gets really awkward in the beginning.
Yeah, it took a little bit to get the technique down. I tell you what, if you ever want to get a forearm pump on, swing a Mukazuchi.
Yeah, you really want to get that forearm pump. Yeah, Ouroboros, it does depend on the height of the striking and how much power put into it.
That's why I drop it on the ground.
Yeah, most blacksmithing schools will teach you to swing like this in blacksmithing, because they keep their striking handles a little bit higher so that they can drop the hammer onto it like that. And that means the reason that they teach that is all about accuracy, right? Because the general run-of-the-mill person isn't going to have the accuracy to hit a small top tool when swinging it over their head. I'm just lucky that I have one of the world's best strikers. And this man, seriously, can swing a 10-pound sledge harder than any man I've ever seen. All day, yeah. Seriously, guys, we've run an entire day of making hammers, and he's been swinging full power the whole day. It's crazy. And yeah, he comes all the way back. Yeah, absolutely, Caitlin. And you know, that's more for accuracy than for anything. If you're accurate, you can get away with swinging an axe stroke. But they don't want you to swing an axe stroke because you could potentially break their tools. We had the percolator running this morning. Good old Black Rifle coffee. Mick is very accurate. He is incredibly accurate. I've worked with a lot of people running sledges, and I've trained them to do the rotate and pivot, because that is the most accurate way to do it. But when I started working with Mick, he naturally fell into that axe stroke, which is what he's used to with swinging axes. Yeah, and he can literally hit, when we were using the old punch really I've thrown it away, but it was literally a piece like this. It was about 20 mil round, octagonal actually at the time, but he could hit the head of this with a 7-pound sledge, which has an even smaller face. There's that one lying on the ground there. You know, with a full blooded stroke, which for me, that blew my mind. But yeah. We've done some good work together. Me and Mick work together really good. I've always appreciated his help, and having him live here is great. You know, I'm like, hey Mick, you're swinging a hammer today. He's like, yeah, okay. Do I get coffee? There is always good coffee. Hey, Tanz's mom. How's it going? Well, it's good, Damascus. In that case, you might actually have a really good kind of striking swing. We're just going to embarrass the hell out of Tons now. Quick, everyone, do things that are really, really embarrassing. Anyway. Yeah, so we punched the Punch the eye on a new Hexhawk. Hopefully we can get this one to be the one that I send to Queensland. Yeah, nice, clean eye, no rag on the inside, which is super nice. I really like that. We did have a bit of trouble in the beginning. I didn't get my angle quite right, and it just wouldn't correct, which I'm glad we went back for that next heat.
To remark.
Yeah. I kept shifting the punch over trying to get it to fit properly, but yes, we're corrupting him. Absolutely. Oh, please tell us stories. We're all for stories. No, that's not right. That's not right. He's good. He's been asking questions. Asking questions is good. I like when people ask questions. I like when people are I like when people are inquisitive, because it means they're willing to learn. A lot of things, they read a book and then they go, oh, that's exactly how it's done, and they don't bother about investigating. So Tans is really good.
Aww.
That's good. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Awesome. Well, hopefully we can help encourage her in this community and get her to start swinging a hammer and doing awesome stuff. How do you make everything squared? Well, first you put a little 2 above the number. Anyway, for squaring stuff, when you're forging square, basically you just forge flat on one side and then turn it 90 degrees and forge flat on the other side. So normally that's fairly simple, but if you get it slightly rhombus, so it creates that kind of parallelogram, it falls over. Then it's a little bit more tricky, and I might actually do a video on squaring up, but I think Roy's from Christ-Centered Ironworks has done a really good video on it. Basically, you have to forge where the points are, you have to forge them in, like on the diamond, and then go back forging square, and that normally helps you square it up.
So on the long diamond side?
Yeah, on the long diamond, yeah. Well, if you forge the short diamond, you're just going to flatten it out even more. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. Fair enough, Jay. Yeah, no, absolutely. Please keep asking questions. This is what keeps these live streams really interesting. You know, not that I don't appreciate guys just watching the live stream and kind of chilling out. That's cool too, but having people directly asking questions gets me to think, gets me to help educate. And you might ask a question that people haven't thought to ask, and they get the answer anyway. And so, you know, you kind of learn through osmosis by having other people ask questions. You can learn stuff yourself.
Turns into like a think tank.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. And you know, and then other people kind of bounce off each other. And this is the kind of we're trying to create. Myself, Roy Adams, John Switzer from Black Bear Forge, Yarmez from Island Metal Forge, Hans Groff, you know, James Duncan, all those guys. We're all, you know, Ting Ting from and Caitlin, obviously, and Jen at JLP. We're all trying to create this YouTube Smith community where we can, yes, Caitlin, you at Orbo, Samari as well. We're all trying to create this community where we can ask questions and genuinely be answered rather than just go, you idiot, you know, stupid question. And, well, yeah, Joey's good too. He's, yeah, I love Joey. His work is fantastic. He's not so good at the interacting bit. And Torbjorn Armin, yeah, Torbjorn is fantastic. But yeah, there's a lot of Smiths. Like, I could go on all day. There are a lot of Smiths on YouTube, Peter Collins and all that kind of stuff as well. So, but we're trying to create a community where we can feel free to ask the stupid questions. I don't believe in such a such a thing as a stupid question. Only if you ask it 3 times. You should be able to, get the answer. So yeah, we want to create an inclusive community where everyone can feel free to ask questions and be answered, and not have it thrown back in their face. We try and encourage people not to say shouldn't or can't, because at the end, nothing that can't. Shouldn't, maybe, like there are certain things you shouldn't do, like drink quench oil, or stick your hand in a vat of ferric chloride for an hour. But, but yeah, we try and, as far as it goes in exploring your question, your craft, there's no wrong way to do things as long as you get to the same kind of answer.
In the safest way.
Why haven't I made clickbait fidget spinners? Well, A, because fidget spinners are way out of date. B, because fidget spinners are friggin' stupid. And C, because I friggin' hate fidget spinners. I'll make an axe and then hit a fidget spinner with it. I actually have a fidget spinner to hit. Jake brought one home. Yeah, Abano is good. There are a lot of good. There's a lot of good smiths in Georgia, so yeah, definitely check that out. And there are a lot of hammer-ins. I would highly advise getting on the Abana page and looking for hammer-ins in your area. Hammer-ins are just groupings of smiths who get together to share information and play around with hammers and forges and stuff like that. That is the perfect place if you are able to get to a hammer-in, even if it's a long distance. Even if it takes 3 or 4 hours to drive there. If you have a hammer-in that you're relatively close to, go to it, please, because you'll never have a better opportunity to meet lots of good smiths and learn hands-on in front of you. In Australia, unfortunately, Western Australia, unfortunately, we have a dearth of hammer-ins. I, along with a couple of other people here in the WA community, are trying to build hammer-ins. Perth knife makers meets, we're calling them at the moment, but they're blacksmiths meets as well. In the eastern states, we have New South Wales, Canberra, and all that kind of Valley Forge has hammer-ins. Yeah, Queensland. What's the QBA? Queensland Blacksmiths Association, I think it is.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, but they have lots of hammer-ins. So definitely go and check out a hammer-in if you're near one, because it's well worth the time. Market is the fidget spinner. No, no, I'm not having my name associated with fidget spinners. The American Bladesmith Society is also a good place to go. Smash it on camera. Yeah, the biggest thing you can do if you're welding is good, although welding isn't necessary to blacksmithing. Blacksmiths have been working without electric welders for forever. The best thing you can do if you aren't close to a blacksmiths association, if you can't find a hammer-in your area and you can't find a local blacksmith somewhere around you, which I find highly unlikely, then YouTube, buy books, DVDs. There's tons of them out there. Forged by Liam Hoffman. Jay Nielsen has an Intro to Bladesmithing DVD set. There are a lot of different kinds of stuff like that, but YouTube is a great resource. I have an Intro to Bladesmithing playlist on my channel. If you go there, there's a beginner blacksmiths channel, beginner blacksmiths playlist. Roy Adams has a beginner blacksmiths playlist. And get yourself a source of heat, which could be a pot with charcoal in it, or a gas forge, depending on how much money you've got, and a hard piece of metal. Sure, go ahead, LJ. That's up to you. If you want to post your email, that's fine. Is your carbon footprint bigger than your actual footprint?
I think your footprint is bigger than your carbon
Yeah, I have a pretty big footprint. Yeah. I don't know. It's because I do have quite a large carbon footprint too. But we try and stay green as much as we can. But yeah, the end of the day, you can't learn too much in this industry. Get a lot of different opinions. Don't just follow one smith. There's a lot of ways you can get around learning.
Watch
But
10
just-
different people, take what you need from
Yep.
each person.
And just get started. Just get started. Like, there's no greater advice than just get it hot, hit it hard. That's the biggest thing. When I got started in blacksmithing, it literally was me sitting in front of the TV watching YouTube videos of Kyle Royer making his Journey to Mastersmith videos when he was going for Mastersmith. And I mentioned to my wife, yeah, I'd like to try that one day. And she's like, okay, why don't you? And I'm like, well, you can't just, pick up a hammer and start hitting things. Just, why not? What do you need? I'm like, oh, well, you need a forge, you need a hammer, and you need an anvil, and you need tongs. And she's like, okay, can you build them? I went, I don't know. She's like, well, just do it then. Do it, go on. And so next day, went out with my dad, and we built a forge, and I found a piece of railroad track to hit on, and started using a ball peen hammer that my dad hadn't got a handle on, so I put a handle on it and started smashing away. And that was the thing. It was the end of the day, that's how I got started, and now I'm a professional blacksmith. So, emails might get blocked. Yeah, that's true. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know how to get around that. You can, if you want to ask me correct questions directly, then you can email me at samtownsbladesmith at gmail.com. So samtownsbladesmith@gmail.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have. You can also check me out on Instagram and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. I'm on there, so if you want to contact me on there as well, it's all Sam Towns Bladesmith. So if you want to find me, you can find me there, and I'm always happy to answer. I'm always happy to answer the questions that you have. Unfortunately, most fidget spinners have ceramic bearings, so you can't forge weld them.
Stop dropping the fidget spinner subject.
Okay, all right, we're gonna give him a timeout if he says fidget spinner one more time.
Okay.
I have my moderator, Dan Hammer, standing right next to me. No more fidget spinners. Don't, there you go. Do it. Time out. Don't play with me. He doubted me. Never doubt me. Yeah. Well, that's it, Jay. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, you can never learn too much. And you can never ask a stupid question. I mean, you could try, but Sam adds a new host to the ban list. No. I mean, I'm not. If someone comes into the chat and says fidget spinner once, then that's fine. But if I tell them not to say it again, better not say it again. Plus, that was just a bit of fun. How much did you time him out for?
300 seconds.
Fair enough. He'll be back.
That was just stock standard.
Yeah. So that's fun. Cost-wise, where's the best place to start buy stuff? Honestly, if you're looking to if you're looking to supply yourself with decent material, then don't go for the balls cheap, like really, really cheap. Go Blacksmith Depot. Blacksmith Depot is probably the best place to go. Techron, don't friggin' test me, man. It was funny once. We went bad this time. Blacksmith Depot. Yeah, Blacksmith's Depot is definitely fucking Jared. I'm gonna remove his moderator. Yeah. The thing is, thanks, Sean. You're awesome, man. Thank you so much for the donation, $20. Fantastic. Some claps in the chat, please, for Sean Pittard. Yeah, what Caitlin did say is true. If you're gonna when you're getting started, start with the bare minimum. Start with a piece of railroad track, an old hammer, and some vice grips. Get started with the very bare minimum that you can. Once you figure out whether or not you really want to do it, then start buying the good stuff from Blacksmith Depot. But that's the important bit. Yeah, I get a lot of people who come to me and they want to get started and they buy $3,500 worth of equipment, and then 5 weeks later they're no longer interested in blacksmithing and they have to sell it all. That's where they get a lot of cheap blacksmithing gear. Yeah, Rich. I mean, that's true. As a hobbyist, that's a good way to look at it. As a professional, you got to look at it a totally different way, and that you've got to invest in the best. Yes, there is a great podcast you can listen to for beginner blacksmiths and good professional blacksmiths alike. It is called The Forgecast.
105 degrees. So
Awesome.
Up around the 30 Celsius.
38, yeah, 35, 30.
38. It'd be about 32.
32, 33, yeah. Oh, Trenton Ty. Yeah, Trenton's cool. I love the fact that he was trolling blacksmiths for beginners. Yeah, shameless plug. It is shamelessly. God, I'm terrible. There's a mix out of here. That's it. He's gone. Oh God, terrible. I will make sure that Mick gets a smack on the back of the head. That is exactly what his cut is. Sean just said make sure Mick gets his cut of his donation. That's your cut.
Let me $20.
Not happening. I'm only get like $12 of that. Maybe not even that. Probably about $10 of that. Yeah, it's great, Caitlin. Like, I'm really happy to see that it is, increasing. Well, it's not so much the Aussie bit; it's the YouTube bit. How do you get your arms to stop hurting? Be more tough. That's how you get your arms to stop hurting. Just keep swinging the hammer. $900, dudes! I'm gonna go to be Prime Minister. Oi, Andy! Yeah, no, you definitely got to, not even mad. There you go, Damascus is back. Hope you learned your lesson. The stretches, yeah, well, depending on where the pain is, $1 bucks. Depending on where the pain is in your arm, if it's in the upper shoulder and stuff like that, then a good one is to grab something. I do it high, but you can do it low, and then turn away from it, and you'll get the bicep to stretch. You can do the same thing by just pulling your arm over from the elbow, or you can grab something and do that. If you've got pain in your forearm, which is where I normally get it, bottom of the arm outright, and then pull back on the fingertips. And then if you've got top of your forearm, which is less likely with hammers, then you want to pull backwards, hand down. But most of the time you want to pull backwards on the tips. That's where my favorite stretch is. And that stops my hand from cramping up. Tinnitus. Yes. He didn't learn his lesson, apparently. Just in time for the Sam's yoga class. That's exactly right. Now we do the salute to the sun. Oh, no, thanks. If your hand cramps solid, it's time to, yes, that is exactly right. And actually, I would say even before that, if you get to the point where your grip on the hammer is slipping, if you get to the point where the hammer is turning in your hand, stop. Please stop. Because bad things happen when you're not in control. If you're, you know, make sure you drink lots of water, make sure you eat. Because we've both made that mistake, and it's fucking terrifying when it happens. So apologies for the language, but when you get hit with that low blood sugar and you get hit with that no energy, it hits you fast, and you end up with, you know, missed strikes and, you know, all kinds of nasty stuff, and you can end up passing out. So make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, and if you're not in complete control, then don't work. And that goes for when you're swinging a hammer, when it goes for your grinder, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, that's exactly what the salute to the sun is in Australia. That's awesome, LJ. Likes it that way. Yeah, so if it's your forearm, then that finger pull is definitely the way to go, and that will prevent you from getting carpal tunnel as well, or it won't entirely prevent you, but it'll slow it down. Because carpal tunnel is just the thickening of the nerves in your wrist through constant work. So doing that stretches those nerves back out a little bit. And again, if you start getting that wrist cramping up and it's not working properly, then that stretch and stop.
I have the
Tennis elbow.
elbow version of carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
Cubital tunnel.
Yep.
Exactly the same thing. The nerve swells or it slips out of the groove.
Yes, if you do have carpal tunnel, that stretch does work really well. It's something that I do every day. I do it without thinking. When I swing the hammer, every day when I start swinging the hammer, I swing the hammer for about 15 minutes, 2 heats-ish, and then I do those stretches. And I do all of them. And that just helps free this up. I'll also stretch my back because I use my back a lot in my work. So it's important that every muscle is freed up, because otherwise you're going to pull something and you're going to be out of work for a couple of days or a day. And when you're a professional, that sucks. When you're not a professional hobbyist, it still sucks. You just don't want to be hurt. It's a physical activity, just like any other. You know, it's like sport. You know, you warm up and then you stretch and then you go and play the game. That's exactly the same. It's a physical sport. Well, it's not a sport, but, you know, it's a craft. Yeah, Jay, well, that'll happen in the beginning. As your muscles slowly build up, one of the big things is to push through the pain. So the first day, you'll swing for 2 hours, you'll start losing control of the hammer, you stop, your muscles will seize up that night, and then the next day it'll be really, really tight. Go swing the hammer again, do those stretches, get your muscles working. It'll hurt, it'll really wear you out, and you'll only maybe get an hour. But then the next time you do it, and the next time you do it, the next time you do it, you'll just see yourself improving in millions of ways. No, my beard has never caught fire. I've been very lucky in that. Knock on wood. Carpal tunnel is not inevitable, but proper hammer control, which I plan on doing a video on that very soon. So, yeah, not if you pay attention to your body mechanics. Exactly right. One piece of advice to give to a beginner. Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Just do it.
Work on accuracy over power.
Yep, accuracy over power again. Yeah, that's a good one. But no, when I did my beginner blacksmiths or beginner bladesmiths video series for my playlist, which again, my playlist is on my channel. One of the first things I go into is just start, just do it, because at the end of the day, you can learn to do all of the other stuff after. You know what I mean? Like you can learn proper hammer technique and all that kind of stuff before you ever pick up a hammer. But until you pick up a hammer, you're not going to understand how the mechanics work. So until you've picked up that hammer and swung it a few times, you're not going to know what you're doing. So just get started. Just get into it, get working, find out what works for you, and then start learning all of the different things you need to know. Yeah, I don't have long enough hair to catch my hair on fire. I don't have enough hair. Ken's Custom, or buy a set from Blacksmith Depot. Blacksmith Depot have fantastic songs. Your hair is on fire. Fair enough, LJ. That's good. That's good. It's good to, be interested. Oh, you did too. I remember that. Actually, I caught on camera, and I'm so pissed off because I deleted it, but I caught on camera the head of my set hammer, my 4-pound set hammer, coming off the end of the handle and falling onto Mick's toe, and he didn't have steel caps on. And so he danced to jig, and I had a long angle shot of it, and he was dancing around the workshop. And I deleted it. I can't believe I deleted it.
And like 2 heats before that, like borax go down.
Yeah, borax go down the back of his shirt because we were forge welding him. Yeah, it took me back to the days when I used to do a lot of target shooting, and you get hot brass down the shirt. That was always fun. Especially the female shooters. We always suggest with the female shooters to wear tight t-shirts that went up to their neck, and they would always think it was because we were like prudish and we didn't want them showing off cleavage, and we're like, no, it's because you catch hot brass, and nothing hurts worse than catching hot brass. Yeah, don't wear Crocs or flip-flops in the shop, please. Or as we call them in Australia. Dirt floor or concrete, doesn't really matter. I use concrete. There's a lot of smiths out there who use dirt floors. Just, keep it free of trip hazards, which I don't practice what I preach. My workshop is so full of friggin', full of trip. Oh, you should have 9mm, cool. It depends, Jay. If you're feeling resistance throughout your entire arm after a severely long session of forging, then I would say stop. But if it's the start of the next day of forging, if it's at the very start, then forge through it. It's all about when it is. If your arm is shutting down after working for so long, then that probably is a signal that you need to stop. But if you start the day and your arm's like stiff, that just means it needs to work out. It needs to work in those muscles.
Like the bodybuilding technique, rip and repair.
Yeah, rip and repair, exactly. Yeah, hot brass can definitely leave scars. I once got a piece of hot brass down my top of my shoe, and it melted my sock to my skin because I had nylon socks, and I'd probably gone through about 300 rounds of 40 cal through this Glock. At that point, and the barrel was smoking, so the brass was ridiculously hot. That would be pretty hot, I imagine. 30mm chain gun rounds, 30mm. Yeah, no polyester in the shop. All of my shirts are cotton, despite the fact that they're full of holes. The reason that they're full of holes and not just melted to my body is because they're cotton. Hey, Demolition, and I did see Adam. Sorry, Adam, I know you missed the stream. We're just doing a bit of a Q&A right now. It dropped for a second. It might drop out on your end. All right, sweet. 30 beats 50 cal, yeah.
Remember that day we were on nylon parasols?
Oh, yeah. He almost lost his nads.
Quite catching fire.
Running the angle grinder and with nylon pants on.
Nylon parasols.
Yeah, nylon parasilk pants. Great. My aprons are fine. My apron is fine. Although you can see right here, this here exists because this is where the cut brush from my angle grinder catches my clothing. If you want to see the shirt underneath, there are some serious holes in this thing. Oh, a bit too, there you go. There's one of the holes in my shirt. I get lots of holes in my shirt, mainly because the cut brush catches me around there. Because when I'm working my cut brush, I'm normally working on vise, and I'm normally working down here like this, and the cut brush comes up and... So, yeah, wear your apron, kids. Wear your apron. Aprons are good. Does the title of Blacksmith Bladesmith have a ring to it when talking to women? Well, I'm never in bars talking to women because I have a wife.
I can attest it does wonders.
Yeah. Mick tells a lot of people that, and yes, apparently it works. 22 mag, nice. Is that the Keltec or? Because I remember the Keltec PM22. I really wanted one of those. Unfortunately, they're illegal in Australia. Lots of things are illegal in Australia. Everything's illegal in Australia. Burned your apron. How do you burn your apron? Is it leather or is it like a cotton apron? How do you burn leather? Like I can't burn mine. Keltec PMR 30. Nice. I want one of those, but I can't have one. It sucks. But yes, at least your apron burned and not you. That's the most important thing. Yeah, Keltec PMR 30 is Keltec's answer to the FN57. Oh, nice. Elk hide. Oh, cool. Yeah, but like you don't burn skin in the sense of burning, actual burning. You would scald yourself, or you can cook your skin. You don't actually burn yourself, you cook yourself. It's branded, yes. Branded your skin. One day, Daniel. Unfortunately, it's a lot of moolah to get me over to the States. Branded your item. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was like, how do you burn an apron? Yeah, branding it makes a lot more sense. I've branded myself a few times.
What about early into when we first started working together? I almost bare hand grabbed that billet.
Oh man, yeah. We had a billet that was about to fall off the anvil, and it was still red hot. We were punching it. And Mick's just gone, he's seen it falling, and he's kind of gone, reached out for it. And he's just stopped. As he said, oh, that was dangerous. Actually, I burned the tips of my fingers. You can probably see the light spots on the tips of my fingers.
Yeah, on the drift, yes.
Yeah, I burned that on the drift day before yesterday. We were drifting. Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? I think it was the day before yesterday when we were forging them. Or was it when we were grinding? No, I think it was when we were drifting them properly.
Yeah, not yesterday, day before.
Yeah, day before yesterday. And it wasn't even on a super hot piece of metal. It was a drift, and we were drifting axes, and I was drifting 2 axes back to back. And I went to grab the drift, and I grabbed it right where the eye had been sitting on the drift, and yeah, burned the crap out of the tips of my fingers. English longbow, nice. I have my English longbow.
Yours is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, I desperately love my bow. Bang sticks. I like bang sticks. I wish I had more bang sticks. Yeah, I really don't like compounds. I have a flat bow. I have a flat longbow, and then I have the English D-section longbow. And Christy has an English D-section longbow as well. I love my longbow. But my flat bow is probably my favorite to shoot. It's a little bit stronger, and lots of fun. Yeah, we have both gas and charcoal. Yes, I do have charcoal videos. Medieval crossbow. Unfortunately, crossbows are illegal in Australia. Everything's illegal in Australia. Yeah, unless you're licensed to have one, it's illegal to have a crossbow in Australia. So I can't make a crossbow, and that would be manufacturing a firearm without a license.
My old, I don't even know what you call it. It's huge, man. Crank driven. An old crank driven.
Oh, the windlass crossbow.
Huge, like it's an antique.
Nice. Move to Georgia. I would love to move to Georgia. I actually always wanted to live in Wisconsin. So yeah. Unfortunately, Australia's government's a little weird.
But free universal healthcare and education. So.
That is also true. Yes, free universal healthcare and education, which is nice. It is literally illegal to have a sleeping donkey in a bathtub. Yeah, that's true. I know that it's illegal in Texas to hold an animal that's heavier than you over your head. I don't know why.
I love these old outdated.
And it's like in Michigan, I think it's in Michigan or somewhere in the northern states, it's illegal to hunt moose from a boat. It's illegal to drop a cow out of a plane in Oklahoma.
Until 1984, it was illegal to swim during daylight at beaches in Australia.
Well, I mean, that being said, it was legal to get an Aboriginal hunting license in the Northern Territory until 1982. People get really weird about that kind of stuff.
It's illegal to take a bath.
Why would you want to take a bath in the winter anyway? I mean, unless it was really hot, because it would get cold pretty fast. I don't know. Hopefully we'll have weed here too soon. It looks like the legalization of marijuana is coming along in the House.
It is in Canberra.
Yeah, Canberra. The only place, the capital city of Australia, it's legal to own weed, but everywhere else it's illegal because reasons. It's like, okay, one of the stupidest gun laws in Australia happens to be here in Western Australia. You are not legally allowed to own empty shell casings in Western Australia because they count as live ammunition. It's just fucking mind-blowing.
How's it live?
Yeah, so this is the thing, is that an empty shell casing, just a piece of brass in a shell casing shape, is illegal. Only in Western Australia. Every other state, you can own empty brass and projectiles. You're just not allowed to own primers or powder. The explosive elements.
Yeah.
The bit that makes it go bang. But yeah, you can't own shell casings in Australia. Like if I go hunting, I have to make sure I clean my car of 22 shell casings because I can get done for improper transport of ammunition if they see one on the floor. Freaking stupid. Northern Indiana. Nice. Clean them and smelt them. Yeah, well, that could be a plan, except that I wouldn't make a video doing that because then fucking people could report me to the police. Not that I have shell casings to melt down. Well, I do. I have 22s. Because I have a license for a 22. But yeah. Originally, that law was put in place to tackle organized crime. Because it was something to hit the bikies with if they pulled them over. Yeah, I would love to come live in America or Canada, but unlikely. As a blacksmith, what are my thoughts on the World Trade Center collapse? I stand with Trent and Ty. It wasn't really molten. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. Jet fuel can't melt steel beams. No, but it can soften it. If you look up 9/11 conspiracy, and it, Jared was mentioned Trenton's channel. What's his friggin'? Jared, save me. I forgot. Purgatory Ironworks.
How about we just not go into this?
Why? It's fun. Yeah, Purgatory Ironworks. Did a great video on it. There's your answer. But anyway, that notwithstanding, yeah, we don't get into the politics of that kind of stuff. Conspiracy. Why do whitesmiths think they're better than us? Well, I don't know. Do whitesmiths think they're better than blacks? I've never met a whitesmith that thinks he's better than me. Whitesmiths only work with tin. Just a note. And I don't know many tinsmiths anymore. Technically, people who work with silver and gold and all that kind of stuff are gold and silversmiths. So whitesmiths. Some people refer to whitesmiths as being perfect. Like they only work with non-ferrous materials, but technically, the term whitesmith, when in use traditionally, was tinsmiths in England. Technically, I'm a whitesmith. And, you know, Will Smith is a blacksmith. I've literally made him facepalm. Hilarious. I work in I work in all materials. I work in ferrous and non-ferrous materials. I work in copper and brass and aluminium and all kinds of fun stuff. Oh man, this is what happens in my live streams, man. Puns. This is the background. This is the behind the scenes stuff. This is what you guys don't see. This is me every day. If I can make a joke out of something, I will. Mick is tortured every day. He has to deal with mine. He has to deal with my humor. You know, it's just one of the advantages of knowing me. All the awesome jokes.
Tell you what, it's my selling point.
Shut up, Mick. I let you live in my house. I know where you sleep. I also bring him coffee in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
If he doesn't stop making fun of me, I'll stop bringing him coffee in the morning. It'll be over. Well, I mean, technically coal is rocks. So you're putting rocks in the forge. Aluminium. That is how it's supposed to be friggin' spelled. It's aluminium. I don't know where Americans got aluminum from. Because the person who discovered aluminium as an element was British and named it aluminium. It's like titanium, right? Ium. Aluminium. It's the, you know, gallium. It's the ium makes it a metal, right? Whereas aluminum doesn't have the ium in it. You don't say gallum. You don't say titanium. You say titanium, gallium, aluminium.
I'm always going to call it Tans's mum.
What?
Tans's mum wants you to say
10 times, yeah.
wants you to say pecan pie.
Pecan pie.
I say pecan.
Yeah, pecan, yeah. I mean, pecan is the British. If you're very upper Oxford, you say pecan pie. You know, it's pecan. But pecan pie. Pecan, yeah, pecan. We're Australian though, so we say pecan. We say dance sometimes. Although, it depends on who I'm talking to, because I tend to chameleon my accent a little bit, and if I'm talking to someone who R's their A's, then I'll probably say dance. And plants. But I say plants. It's aluminium. I don't care. Like Twier. Yes, well, Twier is French. Yeah, Clio. It's French. As a country permitted for rebellion sandwich. Yeah, not wrong. I never had any formal training in Bladesmith. Not formally. I'm a giraffe. Tom's mum. That's it. The way you say pecan is actually the correct way. Well, yeah, you know. Aluminium and num. All good, Will. I look forward to that. Pecan. Yes, it's pecan. Aluminum. Yes, it's a 2-iron. Yeah, I know a lot of smiths who call it a 2-iron or 2-iron, like Tuesday. But yeah, it's Twiel. Phenomena. But yeah, so there are a lot of, as long as we're understood. You have 2 forge gremlins. I have no forge gremlins. He's not allowed in the forge. Mainly because he'd kill himself. Yes. Should we Americans annex Australia? No. No, good luck with that. You don't want us. You really don't. Sun News 10, cool. Tinfoil, yeah. Bunch of convicts. That's it. We are the detritus. Well, you know, as they say, Australia is just British Texas. We are British Texas. Fair enough, Tons. There you go. I sounded like something out of the nightmare. Yeah, that's cool. I always sound like something out of a nightmare, out of Mick's nightmares. He hears my humor in his head as he's sleeping. No, no puns, please. No more. Sam, please, no more jokes. No, please. And then he wakes up and he's like, oh my God, thank God it was a trick. And I'm like, good mid-noon. And he's like, no! Oh, fair enough, Daniel. It's a shame we could have, you know, hung out. I'm the same about America, just in the opposite direction.
You just want to move because of the gun law.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that I also want the, you know, universal healthcare and free education. If I was in the USA, what would I want to do? Well, I plan on being in the USA at least twice, if not more, because I need to go there for my Journeyman Smith test, and I also need to go there for my Master Smith test. I have lots of awesome people and awesome friends over in the US that I would love to meet, so, you know, I plan on being there. But I definitely would shoot a shitload of guns while I'm over there. Every gun that they would put into my hands, I would shoot. Being an ex-firearms instructor, I've fired a lot more guns than my fellow Australians have access to, but I still want to fire a lot of different guns. I also would like to, you know, try the local cuisine. I'd love to go to Louisiana for a while, and I'd love to go fishing in Florida. I really want to go fishing in Florida, down to the Bahamas. I follow a lot of fishing channels on YouTube, land shark fishing, deer meat for dinner, and I love watching their Floridian fishing adventures. That would be freaking awesome. We also revolted over rum. We did too. Yes, rum rebellion. Yeah. Labor Day is actually the Australian Labor Day is actually the anniversary of the Rum Rebellion. Oh, that's cool, Caitlin. That'll be cool.
Is forging a blade and forging a signature different?
Yes. Yes, entirely.
Depends on what.
Two different contexts. You know, forging, you know, as used in the blacksmith's term, is, you know, using the plastic state of steel when heated to, you know, manipulate it, whereas forging a signature is, you know, yeah, copying, making a direct copy thereof. Venison jerky. I would love to go hunting in America as well. Yeah, I really would like to go to Pennsylvania during the flintlock hunting season and do a flintlock hunt, because I am a freaking huge flintlock fan. Yeah, I love flintlocks. So yeah, I would love to go for a flintlock hunt. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'd like to do in America, and I don't think I'm going to be able to do it in 2 trips, so I'm going to have to do more than 2 trips. And Mick will have to come along with me for at least one of them. And we'll come and visit you all. We'll just show up at your house randomly. You won't know how we've got your address. It'll just happen. Yeah, I have a particular set of skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. I will find you and I will make puns, and you won't find it half as funny as when it's on my live stream and you can turn it off at any time.
So, think projects and what kind of different things?
I do have yours, Jared. And if anyone ever actually makes it to WA on their trips, if they're ever on holiday or anything like that, please feel free to drop me a message and we can meet up. That'd be cool. I think we'll move away from the politics now. Whistles innocently an IT guy. We know where to get everyone's addresses now. We're just going to get Will to give them to us all. Opal. God, no. God, no. That's so expensive. Australian opal is so expensive. I'll take that as a personal challenge. Getting you drunk is not hard.
Get me to fall over.
No,
Or
I can get you to fall over.
fall over drunk.
Yeah, I can get you to fall over while you're drunk. That's no problem. just knock him on the head. That's cool, fire scale. I haven't worked with any precious metals yet. I'd really like to. I do have a bunch of 925 silver that I want to melt down in the near future. Irish. I'm mostly Scots. Most of my family's from Scotland. I'm a precious metal. Honestly, the amount of iron in my blood from all of the grinder dust and stuff I've inhaled, I'm definitely not precious, but I'm all full of iron. Bottle of wine mead, a bottle of mead. Nice. Nice. I've made mead in the past. I've actually got a 4-gallon jug of it in the laundry. Although I'm probably gonna have to throw that out because it's been there for 3 years.
I don't mind mead, but I just want to get terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. Mead can be interesting.
I think it's all the sugars.
All good, Jared. Have a good night, buddy. Make a Sam sword. Yeah, I was talking about that on the Forgecast, I think. Was I talking about that on the Forgecast? Someone will have to remind me whether I was talking about it on the Forgecast or not, but Cody's lab has managed to isolate iron from blood. He's actually managed to synthesize iron from blood now. Because originally the question was, like, originally they did the math, and they said, you can you take this much blood to make iron to make swords. But the problem was actually synthesizing the iron out of the blood. Because you can't get direct blood out of iron, direct iron out of blood, because iron is in, it's in a chlorate state in the blood. It's not actual iron metal. So he actually managed to synthesize iron from blood. So I'm really interested to see. I would love to be able to actually make a sword out of blood iron. That would be so freaking cool.
I'm an ex-slaughterman, man. When I ask for that contact, I can get you all the blood.
No, I want to make it out of my own blood. I'll just, start donating blood and keeping it in packets. It'd be great.
You need, I think it was about 250 people. But
Yeah, I know. You needed a lot. I think he synthesized like a liter and got like a gram of iron. So, yeah, lots of blood.
I think with what Damascus is saying, we get too much carburation.
Yeah, I think at that stage, yeah, you probably would get too much carbonization. You'd end up with cast iron. The way that Cody synthesized it, he managed to get pure iron. So you could then take that and carbonate it to whatever level you wanted to. Story is it takes 200 enemies to forge a claymore. Yeah, that's probably about right. I think when they were originally doing the math, they were talking about a longsword. And a longsword is normally about 42 inches in length. Longsword, longsword blade, and the tang. It's quite a bit of metal in this, so I could make a single-handed sword with about half this material. Stop calling you Mother of Dragons. No thanks. But yeah, so it's something. It's a cool idea. I'd really like to investigate. But yeah, it's a long way from being perfected. Anyway, I'm gonna jump off. It's been 2 hours and 40 minutes. This has been really fun. I'm, kind of. You got sidetracked with all the fun talks. It's great. I love it. Thank you so much for joining. And I'm glad that, Tans, you found some inspiration in the channel, and I'm really glad that you have taken the time to ask questions. And thank you, Tans' mum, for coming along as well, and we hope we can encourage your daughter to create awesome stuff. So, good morning to you all. Oh, hey, Charming Hollow. Sorry, Hans, you just come in at the wrong time. We're about to leave. But yeah. Good morning to you all. Actually, is it afternoon yet? No, it's still morning. All good. Thank you very much for hanging around. If you want to send me an email, remember, samtownsbladesmith@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook at samtownsbladesmith. You can find my Redbubble and all that kind of stuff. There's links down in the description below. So if you want to find any of that, straight down there. Thank you very much for the donation, Sean. That is very much appreciated. You guys are all fantastic people. Thank you very much to my patrons, Jared, Nathan, Andy, Kine, Russell, Rich, and Braden. Why do I keep calling him Russell? I have no freaking idea. I'm sorry, Rich. I know you're in the chat right now. Rich, you're awesome. And thank you for buying a shirt, dude. I look forward to seeing what you think of it because, I can't wear one because I don't make them in my size. Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, have a good night. I'll see you in the next video.